theaters do need information about what their audience really is made of, who comes to their theater, apart from the audience that they want to come to their shows or that they think do come to their shows. So to have really the empirical evidence, yes, our audience is like this. This is essential, because only then you can really identify who perhaps is lacking, who you want to have in your venue, and what makes them come, and what makes the existing audience come, and what might be the motivators for the motivations for additional new audience to come. Of course, there are some patterns that are pretty general to all of these theaters. I mean, everyone knows that there's a tendency of theater visitors to be rather coming from older parts of the society than from younger. That there's a larger part of women in the audience usually, so that they are more probable to have higher education, to be more well off. Everyone knows that. So, but what was very interesting and quite new also in this comparison, that that there are specific, let's say, types of programming, of aesthetics, of content that is addressed, or of topics that are addressed by different theaters, and these factors are really differentiating the audiences. So a theater that approaches specifically political issues with contemporary aesthetics or experimental formats of work will, for instance, most probably get a much younger audience, most probably an even higher educated audience, in a way a more typical theater audiences, whereas for instance large blockbuster adaptations of a musical, for perhaps of a movie or of a favorite book, will be more likely to have perhaps a lower share of female visitors, higher share of only primary education or secondary education without academic training, more of an untypical theater audience. So it's really kind of the programming that is the most important factor, much more than, for instance, pricing or so. It's really the program that in a way distinguishes and differentiates between theater audiences. One of the very first theaters that we were working with in Hellerau, they really kind of changed their approach, especially to their festivals that they did. So doing much more community-based work, or going more into that. It was already kind of taking place in the first place with the first festival that we covered within this audience survey. But as a result of the fact that they saw that within these festivals they could really reach different audiences, and then they really went into that even stronger afterwards. So this was something that was at least inspired, I would say. Also, we know of the case of Oz Theater, who became even more aware of the potential of these large-scale productions that sometimes are not that well regarded by theater producers themselves, because they say, okay, this is not artistic enough in a way, aesthetically interesting enough for us, but to make them aware that this is exactly the type of theater that attracts people more easily, that are not so often, not so easily coming to theaters. So yes, they were, and they used that for their marketing afterwards. So of course, it's always difficult to say what really was inspired by our results. But I think the most important part was that a lot of theaters also became aware through the exchange within Theatron of similarities between theater audiences. And learned also to kind of understand what made their audience specific compared to other audiences, or was quite similar in their audience, or patterns that they were working on and asking, is this because of us? And I could say, no, it's all the same. It's the same like this in all over Europe. We were answering the needs of the different theatres. What we did in not in Sheffield but in Sadler's Wells, that we had qualitative interviews with participants of the Company of Elders, and also we had kind of expert interviews with some of their partners for their education program, going along with some of their more community-based productions there. So this was the research that we did there, mostly qualitative, going into specific parts of their program, because as both Sheffield and Sadler's Wells already are doing such a tremendous work with respect to audience research. There weren't so many things where we could say, you know, you really do need this from us. And I was, well, we know, we've said, okay, we already had that. So we were kind of more looking for the extra work that might have been done from the point of view of theatron interest, of general interest.